Good morning, students. How are you? I hope you all are fine and staying home to keep yourself safe from COVID 19. As we have already started this chapter, population, and the last module we could cover up to the process of population change and growth, in which birth rate, death rate, and migration we covered. Now, some more points are there under this process of population change and growth. So, we will see here in this module. So, let us start, students. Age composition. Age composition of a population refers to the number of people in different age group in a country. So, that age group given here that 15 years, 15 to 59 and 59 year above. It is one of the most basic characteristic of population because age structure tells us कि how much working population is there in our country and how much dependent population is there in our country. To an important degree, a person's age influence what he she needs, buys, and buys does and his her capacity to perform. So by this age group only we can get idea about these things. So consequently, the number and percentage of a population found within the children working age and aged group are notable determinant of the population's social and economic structure. So by this age group only population's social and economic structure we can understand. The population of a nation is generally grouped into three broad categories. That broad categories are this 15 years, the children, generally below 15 years, working age 15 to 59 years, and aged group above 59 years, that is 60 and above. This age group below 15 years, they are economically unproductive. It is believed by the Indian government that they are economically unproductive and need to be provided with food, clothing, education, and medical care for their upliftment, for their growth, for their human capital formation. Working age, that is 15 to 59 years, they are economically productive. That means they can do work, any productive work in the economy which can generate income. And biologically reproductive means able to give birth to their children. They comprise the working population. So this age group 15 to 59 years is referred as working population. Aged group, that is old age people, they can be economically productive though they may have retired. So here it is person to person vary because some people are even capable of doing number of work type number of work and the type many type of work even after get retired. So this depends. on the person, and this very person to person. They may be working voluntarily. Voluntarily means as per their desire, they can continue the work, but by the law or by any government rule, if they are working in a government organization, that rule does not bound them to work, but they are not available for employment through recruitment. Recruitment means employment opportunities, whatever released by the government, that is not available for this age group. But nowadays, to a higher institution, highly intellectuals were required. In those categories, in some of the posts, government asks for this age group also that they can join. The percentage of children and aged affect the dependency ratio because these groups are not producer. Means from here we think that the percentage of children and aged means the children and old age people affect the dependency ratio means as much children and old age people will be there in the population, that population will be more dependent on the producers. Here in this pie chart you can see that children are this much, 34.4%, and aged people 6.9%, and see adult showing that 58.7%, the maximum portion of our country's population is falling in adult age group means working age groups. That is why our economy is uh, referred as the most productive population in the world. Even in the world, we are having such condition. The proportion of the three groups in India's population, as here we could see. Now let us move to another slide. Sex ratio. Sex ratio is defined as the number of females per thousand males in the population. Why are we studying about this sex ratio? It is for keeping balance between the male and female ratio in the population, because both are very important for the development of our country. We cannot think about the development only on the basis of males or females. Both are equally important in the economy. So that is why we study about sex ratio. This information is an important social indicator to measure the extent of equality between males and females. So how the males and female are equally treated in the society? This information also we get from this sex ratio. You can say that gender discrimination is existing in the country, in the economy, in the society or not. By this sex ratio we can understand. The sex ratio in the country has always remained unfavorable to females. Yes, of course, from the beginning, it is seen that female proportion in the population looks much lower than the males. The table 6.2 shows sex ratio. See, in 1951, it was 946 per thousand. In 1961, 941. See now decreasing, it is not increasing as after independence when we were under our control, no one was ruling on us, we were having our government. So now this sex ratio is decreasing means the female population is decreasing. 1971, 930. Now here little increase is seen after 10 years that in 1981 that 934 again it has come down. See here in 1991 929 929 and then 2001 933 and 2011 943. So even up to 2011 we could not achieve that sex ratio which was in the beginning just after independence. So see the condition of sex ratio in our country and how much gender discrimination, how much balance is there in the male and female. You can understand through this data. Kerala has sex ratio of 1084 females per 1000 males. Puducherry 1038 females for every 1000 males, while New Delhi has only 866 females per 1000 males and Haryana 877. This is the lowest in our country. So, maximum gender discrimination you can observe in these states Delhi and Haryana. The sex ratio in the country. Okay, this we covered here. Now, literacy rate. Literacy rate is a very important quality of population. Actually, in this literacy rate, we count the people. A person aged 7 year and above who can read and write with understanding in any language is treated as literate. And this also calculated or counted per thousand population. You can say what is literacy rate? That literacy rate is the number of people who are in the age of 7 year or above able to read and write with understanding in any language per thousand population, per thousand people. So that is literacy rate. Obviously, only an informed, educated citizen can make intelligent choice and undertake research and development projects. You know that how much this important research and development projects. This research and development projects only responsible for the innovation of new technologies, new techniques for innovation. So that literate population, educated population is very much required for better development of our country. Low level of literacy are a serious obstacle for economic improvement. If low level of this literacy rate is there, this becomes obstacle, hurdle, restriction for the economic improvement. There has been a steady improvement in the literacy level in India. Not good improvement, but steady improvement has been observed. The literacy rate in the country, as per the census 2011, is 73%. Means 73% population is educated, not educated, you can say literate. See, educated and literate, there is difference. Literate means yes, they are able to read and write with understanding any language. But educated people are certified by the government educational organizations that they have this kind of certificate, degree, all these. But see, males 80.9% and 64.6% for females. Means male are more literate than females in our country. Again, here you can see gender discrimination between males and females by our society, by the people in our country. As you know that in earlier time, even today also you can see in some of the families that they don't like to send their females, that female child, to school for education. They don't like to provide the same educational facility which is available for their male child to females. So this way you can see that literacy rate is again showing here how much gender discrimination is there in our country. So I hope you understood why such difference exists. Number of other regions are there that traditional beliefs that males are more important than females. Males will bring good earning when they will grown up. Females are observed as a burden that they have to go to other family after marriage. So that way they are having such narrow minded thinking, and that they don't try to provide the same educational facility to their female child as they provide to their male child. So this way such differences continue and exist, and this is visible through this 80.49% and 64.6%. Occupational structure. Occupational structure is related to that occupation. The people engaged in different types of activities that are primary, secondary, and tertiary activities. So the percentage of population that is economically active is an important index of development. Yes, of course, in the previous slide we saw that how much productive population we have, about 57%. That percent was 58.7%. The distribution of population according to different types of population is referred as the occupational structure. Distribution of population according to different type of occupation. Occupation is that type of work they do for their livelihood. An enormous variety of occupations are found in any country that belongs to primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary activity includes agriculture, animal husbandry, forestry, fishing, mining, and quarrying, etc. Secondary activities include manufacturing industries, building and construction work, etc. Mainly, the work is done by the machines, and some transformation is done in the natural products. Here, in this primary, you can see there the activities are related to the natural production. Tertiary activity includes transport, communication, commerce, administration, and other services. So here, all are services. So the service sector you can say is tertiary sector activities. So they are engaged in such kind of activities. The proportion of people working in different activities varies in developed and developing countries. This is the main criteria to discuss. The developed and developing country, how related to occupational structure. The developed nations have a high proportion of people in secondary and tertiary activities, and developing countries tend to have higher proportion of their workforce engaged in primary activities because they are in initial stage of their country's development, their economic development. And in India, about 64% of people engaged in only in agriculture. So by this you can understand that our country falls in this developing country category. The proportion of population dependent on secondary and tertiary sector is about 13 and 20% respectively. Here through this table also you can see the percentage of people working in different sectors. There has been an occupational shift in favor of secondary and tertiary sector because of the growing industrialization and urbanization in recent time in our country. This occupational shift has been seen. By this you can understand. See, the primary sector was at 71%, 71.8% that almost you can say 72% was engaged in primary sector, 12%, 12.6% in secondary, and 15.6% in tertiary sector activity. That is about to 1901 before independence. And after independence, almost similar condition you can see 72.1, 10.1. Little increase is seen here, that's 17.3%. And this ratio you can see how maintained up to the 1971. Up to this year, this agricultural activity means the people dependent on agriculture, dependent on primary sector, agriculture, not only agriculture, some other activities also. So this is 72.1% population was engaged in this primary sector. And see that secondary sector, that is mainly industrial sector, population is very less in occupation. And even this tertiary sector also, this ratio is maintained. And little decrease you can see from this 1971 to 1981, that 72 around 4% you can say, or 3.9%, 3.8%. So this shift is there. Sorry, 3.7 it is there. And little decrease here also observed. And up to 2000 better improvement is looking. That 56.6, but more, even then, more than 50% population is engaged in primary sector activities. And this is 17. And tertiary sector increased up to the 25.8%. This is 2000 data. In 2011, this is given here, 64% population in only agriculture. So still this dependency is seen over primary sector. So there is a lot of improvement required for the occupational structure, and that is possible through improvement in education, educational qualities, development of industries, diversification and expansion of tertiary sector activities. So all that are will result in better improvement of our economy, where more and more people will be engaged in secondary sector and tertiary sector. And this is required to reduce the burden over primary sector, because in primary sector when the people are engaged more, so we will discuss in the next module that in primary sector whatever these use number of population, use ratio of population, big means more than 50% population is engaged, that is causing a kind of unemployment, that is hidden unemployment. that unemployment is there, but that doesn't look. So this we'll discuss in next module. Or in economics, we have discussed that disguise unemployment, where people are engaged more than required in this sector, and that increase the dependency of population over agriculture. Even if they are not required, then also they are engaged in the work, and this way they are not improving the GDP, the production of this sector, and unnecessarily they are engaged in the primary sector. So this will be better to remove such extra people from here and include them in this secondary sector and tertiary sector, so that this ratio can increase and better improvement of the economy can be there. So okay student, let us see. Thank you. Have a nice day. Revise the topic which we have discussed here, and we'll meet in the next module. Thank you. Have a nice day.